What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Take This. My name is Brad LaPlante, and I'm here right now with GRIFF Sutton as well. I'm actually going to do a thing real quick. Actually, I can't move it. I'm moving our logo. Let's move our logo. How do I do that? I can't figure it out. So, unlock. Unlock. I'm going to put it down here. Let's do that. Does that look okay? Does that look okay to you? That looks fine to me.
What, you're gonna put it right here?
Yeah, it's right. It's right down there. Move it.
Anyway, people who aren't listening or watching on YouTube or just listening, hi, welcome in. Brad's just messing with the live.
Messing with the graphics.
It's a live production.
Yeah,
so
we're vibing. We are vibing.
We don't have the privilege of post production, but
well.
Anyway, Brad, how you doing?
I'm great.
You enjoyed watching the SEC Invitational on Monday?
Well, yeah.
And how that's all we're going to
So
get?
I actually didn't watch like any of it. So I
well, the first half you didn't miss. It was
no, that's all I saw actually. I gotta turn my mic down. It's way too loud. Sorry. So I didn't actually see any of the second half. I saw the first half. I didn't see the second half. But it was boring. Like and that's why I was like, if this is gonna be the thing, then I don't want to watch this game. This game sucks. Like it was like I was like, if it continues at this rate, it's gonna be 16-13, and then we're gonna be out of here.
Yep.
And I'll be like, what the hell? So, but Alabama scored about what I thought they would score, and that was 18. But Georgia turned it up a notch. In the So that was a fun time. But
no, I think my thoughts on it, just to we'll debrief this quick because I really want to jump into NFL playoffs. I think that's far more interesting this week.
Yeah, probably.
But I think really just to sum up the CFP, it was a very good football game. The first half was boring, but I think it really just it was a it was a battle through and through, and it's kind of a shame that Bama lost really its two best offensive players, not named Bryce Young, and their receivers, Jameson Williams, going down with the tore his ACL, which, by the way, he's going to fall in the draft. I want the Lions to take him. If he's there at 27 or wherever they're picking, I want the Lions to take him. But that's a different conversation. Anyway, I think it was a good football game, but it's just like the SEC is just miles ahead. And I don't think there is a solution to fixing it. I think it's just going to be the SEC is just going to keep pounding on the rest of the college football landscape, and we're going to just have to get used to it. I mean, if you look back through the last 15 years, I think the SEC team has won like 12 out of the last 15. Clemson and Florida State were like the only two. I think maybe there was one. Oh, and Ohio State. Like those are the only three that haven't won. That the only three champions not from the SEC. We've had LSU, we've had Bama, we've had Georgia now, Florida way back. Again going back 15 years. Florida. It's just, and I know people are talking about expansion, and I do think I mean, Brad, you and I have talked extensively about it. I'm not a fan of expansion. I don't think it's a magic elixir to fix this, but I do understand why it could help. And for
You
that
know,
reason, okay, fine.
I
But
I
I
saw
think
this I saw this one take actually, and I want to bring. I've never brought this up before, so new information. So well, and this has probably been talked about. Like this is probably not a new idea, but someone was talking about how the NCAA needs to impose like recruiting restrictions on teams like Alabama and on teams like Georgia, LSU, like all these teams that have like in the SEC that have advantages to recruit. And so, and I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, maybe, but at the same time, like, does that not hurt the players? You know, like if you're a good player, that I feel like would hurt your like limitation. Because the thing with Michigan and the reason why I feel like that they have been sort of like underachieving is coaching with like Jim Harbaugh. Like I always thought that was, and I'm not saying, and that's another discussion that we could have another time. But say you are at a Power 5 program and you go and you're 5-star recruit, whatever. Like your development, like your stars are, or however, like how touted you are, is irrelevant to the like to the how you are, like how you develop as a player. You know, like if Shea Patterson might have been touted as this guy that was like gonna change Michigan or whatever, but then like he comes in and you realize he's not all that. Or Joe Milton was touted as a guy and you might not know he's all that. Like it depends on how you get developed at your program, and this is not just a Michigan only issue. But, I don't know. It's hard because you have so much consolidation of power at the top, and it's very hard to change that.
You realize what Henry Bowers, tight end for Georgia, absolute animal.
Right.
He's from Napa Valley.
Okay.
Napa Valley, California.
Right.
Georgia and Alabama never used to go to the West Coast. Do you know why they go to the West Coast now? And do you know why they can recruit in Texas? Because USC hasn't been worth a damn. Now, granted, Lincoln Riley going there, we'll see what happens with that, but that's not going to be an immediate turnaround.
Right.
It's just they've been able to expand their recruiting, and Alabama boosters will give whatever money they need to make sure Saban has the resources to get these guys because they want wins. I mean, right? That's all they want. And now, like, they've just been able to go into whatever district, whatever region, and recruit whoever the hell they want. And Michigan and Ohio State, Michigan State, the whole Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Big 12 haven't been able to do that. And, I mean, shit, the SEC just took Texas and Oklahoma. So it's like now the SEC has that whole region in the South and Southeast. And here's the other thing. In Michigan, this doesn't happen, but you realize, like, players in the South play spring football as well as fall. They have spring leagues. So these high school players, instead of playing 4 seasons, they're playing 8 seasons worth of football during their high school career. And it's just more experience and development. And granted, it's high school. But I think all of that experience like shows why Southern recruits just seem to be a whole different breed. And so you talk about, what, you're going to put a limit on the number of 5-star and 4-star guys? Like, you don't think Alabama can flourish by just with 3 stars with Nick Saban and that coaching staff developing and demanding? And, it's kind of funny, like, we're seeing this now, and I'm curious to see what, like, chain reaction effect this will have. But, like, we've seen, like, players from Georgia and Alabama are transferring to go otherwhere because they're not getting playing time. Because, like, if you're a linebacker at Georgia and you're behind Nakobe Dean, like, you just know, like, okay. Or, sorry, you're behind Willie Anderson at Bama, is who I meant to say, 'cause Dean's going to the draft. If you're behind Willie Anderson as a linebacker, you're not starting next year. So, like, are you going to stay there and waste another year of eligibility? Or are you going to go? So, like, I am curious how, like, the easiness of the transfer portal being so open, how that will affect Bama's ability to retain their recruits when they have to like sit and wait. But again, I don't think I think the easiest, my only solution I can think of, and I still don't even know if it's that good of a solution, but it's the best thing I can think of is NIL is already taking over. We're seeing schools like Texas A&M literally, $25 million a year to pay players. My thing is just make this streamlined. I mean, the college football is already the minor league system of the NFL, right? Like that's all it is, right? You recruit through college and you draft players out of American colleges. It's a direct pipeline. Just make it a league. Like make it basically a league. It's still run through the schools. You still have the academics as part of it. Cool. Give schools a salary cap. You don't have to give it a floor. I don't think that's necessary. I'm not going to say that Akron has to go out and spend $70 million a year on their football program. I don't force them, right? Can still be voluntary, but if you want to keep it competitive, right, make it put the same restrictions as we do on NFL teams. Like if the NFL didn't have a salary cap, it's just whichever billionaire has the most money. Like the Raiders would never be able to keep up because Davis is, for an NFL owner, fairly poor compared to the Fords or the owner of the Carolina Panthers, who's a very savvy Wall Street guy.
I think that dude from the Broncos is also kind of up there too. Like he owns like the Clippers or something like that.
Oh no, he's a GM. Yeah. Yep.
But
so it's like the NFL is probably the most competitive league in all of sports. Like I think the difference between the Packers and the Jaguars, it's a big difference. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot different than like the difference between like the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Carolina Hurricanes in hockey and the Phoenix Coyotes. Like I think that's a bigger disparity than that. And that's just, I think, because of the nature of the NFL of like, and the same thing with baseball. Like you can't just buy your way out of issues. And it's kind of the same thing with college football. If you implement a form of a salary cap, at least it gives all the schools an even playing field with NIL, and that would prevent Bama from getting certain guys. Like unless they can get a 5-star recruit to come to the school and not take any NIL money or take a paycheck, which I don't think they could do, they're gonna have to pay those 5 stars, and then you have to start thinking of like allocating. That feels better to me than just saying, hey, you're too good at recruiting, so you're not allowed to recruit those guys. At least with the money, it's a strategy investment. And maybe you can have, maybe eventually you need a players union, but that's one step at a time. I think at the very least that, it forces you to recruit differently, because now if you're Alabama and you go to a 5-star, you got to try and negotiate with that 5-star. Like, how much are you willing to come to the school for? And for how much are you willing to take payment wise? Like if we pay you this much, we can't pay this guy, and then the whole team's not complete. So can you negotiate those kind of things? I think that might be the best chance, because like, let's be honest, universities have a lot of money. Like the University of Michigan and Michigan State both have huge endowments. If they want to pump out NIL money, they can. So if everyone has, I think the NFL, it's right around 200 million. It probably isn't that high in college, probably closer to maybe 190 million, somewhere in there. Just start, especially because you have more players to think about. It's not a 52-man roster. There's like almost 100 kids on a sideline at any given point. So I feel like that might be the best way to go about it. But again, it just, until something changes, and like I said, we'll see how NIL develops. I think we're going to just continue to see what we've been seeing in the college football playoff, which is lots of SEC, lots of Bama. We're going to see. I think we're going to keep seeing Georgia. I think LSU has a chance to keep going back.
So here's something I also think with the expansion. I think it's worth saying at least that like the SEC won't normally have like more teams than like the Big Ten, right? Right? Am I wrong in saying that? I think that because of, and I don't know this for sure, and I don't know how expanding will impact the rankings, because right now we put all of our marbles into the top 4 because that's where you gotta be, right? But I don't know if moving it to 8 or 12 will change that. And because think about it this way, and you don't see. And I guess bowl games are a little bit different, and I don't know how most of the SEC teams would compete with the Big Ten, but usually there's I don't know, Ole Miss was up there, right? And normally, say Iowa had a better season than they ended up having, Iowa would also be there. So would Iowa have a success against the SEC? I don't know, but there's always 3 Big Ten teams kind of at the top. Normally, if Iowa would have done their shit, or would have been as bad as they are, I'm just saying that I think that there's not going to be a shit ton of SEC.
I think that if let's assume they go to 12, that's the number they've been circling in their talks. I think, especially again, this was a down year for the SEC. Right. You have to realize that.
Yeah, that's true.
Bama wasn't as good as they've always been. They made a national title, and this is the worst they've looked.
Right.
At least in recent memory. Georgia just ungodly. They just, that defense is suffocating. And so you have those 2 teams. I think they are going to continue to do what they do. Bryce Young's going to be back next year. I think Alabama seems to just pull Pro Bowl caliber receivers out of their asses. They think of all the receivers that they have produced. Devonta Smith and Henry Ruggs. I know what happened with Henry Ruggs, but he was a damn good receiver. I think it'd be at least 4 SEC teams. If there's a 12-team league, I think at least a quarter of them would be SEC.
And that's and you're not wrong, I suppose. In 2019 when LSU won the national title, there were 4 SEC teams. So we got LSU, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. And then Clemson, I believe, was the only ACC team. I said Florida already. We got Big 12. We got 1, which is Oklahoma. And then Big 10, you had Ohio State and Wisconsin and Penn State. And then and Minnesota. Minnesota was number 10. And then you had Notre Dame. And then you had Pac-12 and Oregon. But still, you know what I mean? The Big Ten would compete.
Rankings. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's the CFP rankings going in. This would be this year.
Yeah.
If you go to 12, there are you have Bama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So that's 3.
Right.
They take a quarter of the spots, right? And then you'd have Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, 3 Big Ten, Utah. What division is Baylor? Big 12. They're Big 12.
Baylor's
right?
Big 12, yeah.
So you got Utah for Pac-12, Pitt for ACC, Oklahoma State, and Baylor for Big 12, and then Notre Dame as non-conference, and Cincinnati's group of 5. So looking at that, it is only Georgia and it is only 3, but that's still a quarter, and there's 3 Big Ten teams. And I think you're right. I think in a different year, and we'll have to see with USC, but I think that's the only team in the Pac-12 worth a damn. I think in a different year, you could easily see 4 SEC teams and 4 Big Ten teams. And then the other 4 spots is probably Notre Dame. They always are kind of in. There's, a group of 5 probably. And then some conference champions, right? Like Utah and Pittsburgh. So and in next year, it'll probably be Clemson. I just think that's great and all. I just think we're just going to keep seeing, whoever the best team in the SEC is going to keep going to that title game and keep winning. And the only one that can really maybe do something about it would be Clemson, Ohio State would be the 2 maybe. And, Michigan and Michigan State, I just think there's too much of a bridge to gap right now. I think Michigan would have they would need to significantly improve. And It's hard. They just had their best season ever, and they have to
Right.
significantly improve even more. Like, that's hard to do. Tuck's great. I don't think. Like, I saw a Michigan State fan account. I think they tweeted Michigan State will be in a national title game in 3 years, and I think I appreciate the optimism, but that's a little like it's nothing against Michigan State, and I think Tucker is very good. And could he do it? It's always possible. I just think, and it's again, this isn't talking down Tuck. It isn't even talking down the Big Ten. It's just the SEC is a step above and everything else. So I don't know what the answer is. I feel like NIL and putting like a cap on college football teams is the best way to at least somewhat even the playing field. But at the end of the day, I have no fucking idea. Like, who knows? But like I said, fun football game. It was cool to watch, and hey, we're looking forward to college football next year. It's gonna be a good time. So, anyway, now that the college football season's done, Brad, do you want to talk about some NFL playoffs?
I absolutely do. Griff, are we doing our bracket? Are we like picking every game?
Man,
did you want to do that, or do you want to just pick a select?
We could do bracket.
Do you want to do it
I
for
can pull up
who you got, or do you want to do it? Do you want to do it now?
I mean, we could do it. Actually, let's do who you got.
Let's do who you got. Okay.
Well, we'll do it because I mean we're picking every game.
Right,
I'll just
right.
tell you guys right now.
Let's do it.
Picking every playoff game. So,
perfect.
Then we'll start with kind of the breakdown here.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing before we talk about the teams that did make it, I want to talk about one team that didn't, because the NFL robbed us of one of the funniest fucking things in the world. It all started when the Colts somehow choked away their playoff aspirations to the Jaguars. And I'm very sad about that. Brad, if you remember, I was high on the Colts going into this year. I said the Colts could be second in the AFC South with a chance to make the wild card. I was spot on. A few more losses than I expected, but I was pretty spot on. And that team, that was pathetic. What happened against Jacksonville just didn't even show up. And I know a lot of people want to blame Carson Wentz, and he had a bad game. And I know I'm a little bit of a Carson Wentz slap, because I have always thought after he blew his knee out in his MVP season, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I've always felt like he just couldn't, every situation he was in with the Eagles, now here, or before he got here, he just, it was a bad year, injuries and things like that, and the city of Philadelphia completely giving up on him. But the fact that they lost that game, I mean, it's on Wentz, but it's also on the coaching staff. Like, I like Frank Reich, but he did not have that team ready to play football. And it's a win or go home situation. It's a playoff game against a bad opponent, and they didn't do what they needed to do in order to win the game. And it's just absolutely absurd. Anyway, but when they lost that game, it gave hope to the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they won their game against the Ravens. So all the Steelers needed to make the playoffs was for the Chargers and Raiders to not tie. We talked about the situation last week. Chargers and Raiders played at night. They could have theoretically had a truce and just kneeled the ball the entire game. 0-0. Tie. They didn't do that, which is fine. They played the game. Chargers come down, get bailed out. Some of the coaching decisions by Brandon Staley were atrocious. Going for it on 4th and 1 on your own 19 in the third quarter, down 3. I know I love an analytics-driven guy. And when Dan Campbell does it, I don't really mind, at least this year. If he does it next year, I'll be pissed. I didn't care this year because the team's awful. That they're probably going to score a touchdown on you anyway. So you're just saying, fuck it. Let's see what sticks. You're in the game of the season. This is a playoff game. Win or go home. You need to at least tie or win this game. And you're doing that. And thank God he's got Justin Herbert getting bailed out by by great talent, because they somehow come back and they tie the game with a literal last second touchdown. Zeros on the clock. They tie the game up. So now it's interesting. Now everyone in Pittsburgh's shitting themselves, right? The game is down. They're, overtime. Raiders get the ball. They hold the Raiders to a field goal. Again, both teams could just kneel it out at this point, but they don't. Chargers come down, convert on a 4th and like 9. By the way, that last drive they converted like 6 fourth downs. It was crazy. It was an absolutely awesome game to watch. So they go down and the Chargers kick a field goal. There's like 4 minutes left in the game. Just take your knees, boys. But live and fight another day. Don't like. And the Raiders kind of signaled that they were running the ball. They weren't really passing. Kind of just like they were playing safe, right? Because they knew if they throw a pick, like Chargers, they were right in field goal range. The game's over. So they want to win, but they also don't want to lose, right? That's the key objective. Winning is a luxury. Losing, like tying or better, is a necessity. So they're just running the ball, and for whatever reason, the Chargers can't get in a good defense. And then the timeout. So the game was down to about 40 seconds. The play clock had 5 seconds, and the Chargers called timeout. Now here's the thing. The Chargers called timeout. Brandon Staley said he called it because he wanted to get a better pass running defense on the field because of how he saw the Raiders line up. But when they called that timeout, the Raiders head coach and Derek Carr both confirmed this and made them rethink their approach. And that's when they decided they lined up in a bit different. They've lined up in a different personnel and ran the ball to get into field goal range. Now, here's the thing. The Raiders probably were just playing for the tie. And by calling that timeout, it was also like the prisoner's dilemma where it felt like, wait, because the Chargers still had one timeout left. It's like the Raiders probably were thinking, wait, are they trying to like get the ball back and kick us out of the playoffs? Oh, fuck that. No. We're running a real play now. So, that play alone, yeah, you just destroyed your playoff hopes. But it was all the decisions Brandon Staley led up to, like before that it's just like, man, what are you doing? Like, he's a first-year head coach, and I like him, and I don't think they're going to fire him, even if what he did could be like a fireable offense. But man, they got to make the playoffs next year. Like, they got to be like 10-7, 11-6, because to not make the playoffs this year is a travesty for the Chargers. They were red hot out of the gate this year, and I just can't believe they didn't make it. And obviously, I'm a Chargers fan. I got a Herbert jersey. And I'm just like, I just can't believe they pissed it away. Like, man, the only thing they have to look forward to is knowing they have the best uni combo in the league and one of the best helmets. But like, that doesn't win you a Super Bowl. It wins you a fashion show. I'm telling you though, man, the Chargers team, because they have like so many different combinations, they could legit just get dressed in like, they could get dressed in the dark, and whatever combo they came out in would look great. It's insane how good their uniforms are. But I digress.
Yeah.
I'm a little mad at Brandon Staley.
What's funny though is I can't remember what I was reading. Someone was arguing that the 2021 Chargers kind of okay, let me put it this way. They were arguing that the San Diego Chargers from 2010 were, or it was, I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2010. One of them did not make the playoffs, yet they were one of NFL's greatest teams, didn't make the playoffs. And it's almost like the same with like, because on paper, the LA Chargers look good. Like, they look good. You got Justin Herbert in his sophomore season. And that sophomore season is sort of when you see, and that's the thing. Like, you need a team to hold you up. And like,
that's the thing. He didn't sophomore slump.
And that's the thing.
I mean, he was pretty on par compared.
But if you're a team that has a franchise quarterback, like, you should not miss the playoffs with your franchise QB. Like, that just shouldn't happen. And
yeah,
I guess it's like frustrating, because like, I mean, the Jets have several problems, right? Like, they got like shit. They've drafted quarterbacks up, left, right, and down, whatever. And then obviously the Lions like have had, their issues, whatever. And the Lions were in a tough division. And I guess you could say that, well, Chargers, sort of. Who else they got? God, who else is in their division? The Seahawks?
Broncos?
No. Broncos. So Broncos suck, right? Who else is in?
But they lost the game to the Broncos.
And that's
the Raiders.
what the
It's
fuck?
Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos. But yeah, they lost the game to the Raiders. They lost.
It's
they
like
lost
frustrating to watch. It is frustrating to watch.
They lost to the Texans.
The Chargers did the entire league a disservice by keeping Justin Herbert out of the playoffs. The entire league a disservice.
And like
I feel like I am owed a refund. I feel like I am owed a refund on the season.
I get that, it's Ben's right into the sunset season, but like I would rather see Justin Herbert than Ben Roethlisberger. I'm sorry.
Ben Roethlisberger, I would rather set my TV on fire than watch him. And I'm not lying at all. Might want to call 911 in advance this weekend. I actually will not be watching that game. I have plenty of other nice things to do with my time. What day is that on? Is that on Saturday?
It's super. I'm pretty sure. Let's pull here. I got it right here. Steelers Chiefs is the Sunday night game.
Fuck that. That sucks. Well, because I'm going to the Red Wings game this weekend, and I won't be watching any football on Saturday night. So I'll miss the Raiders and the Bengals. Not that is really exciting. I guess Joe Burrow. But then the Patriots and the Bills, I'll miss that. No big deal. That'll be exciting because that's a whole thing. But then what am I stuck with? I'm stuck with the Cowboys and the 49ers or the Steelers and the Chiefs. No, thank you. I could watch Tom Brady destroy the Eagles. So, I don't know. But I digress.
Yeah, so I think so yeah, I agree. It's a disservice that he didn't make it in, and I'm very upset. But Brad, let's look at the teams we do have. So, we kind of just alluded to it with the Steelers. They are my frauds in the AFC. They're the only frauds I have in the AFC. I actually did write Raiders here, but I realized I don't think that's fair. I actually I'll explain why I'm actually moving them into a different category. But yeah, the Steelers are frauds. They're 12.5-point underdogs to the Chiefs. They just got smacked like children in the last time they played the Chiefs. It was a complete blowout. The game was over by halftime. And honestly, I just think Ben's on his last legs. Yeah, they got great talent on the offense, got a lot of great weapons, but Ben just can't do it like he used to. The defense is very spotty, and we saw how poorly they did against the Steelers, against the Chiefs, and how many points they gave up. So yeah, I think plain and simple, I just think they're frauds, and I think the Chiefs are going to absolutely smack them. So, anything else you want to say other than fuck Big Ben because you don't like the man?
Yeah, literally. I'm sick of watching the Steelers, and you know what I'm pissed about though? I didn't watch this game. Okay, for the record, I did not watch this game, but that Raiders. What was it? The Raiders and the Chargers, right? Where the Chargers lost in overtime. That was garbage because so I wake up the next morning and I'm like, what happened? Because I'm like, I do not want the Steelers to go to the playoffs, right? I'm like, I don't want to see that. I just want zero part of it. And I don't really, and to be honest, I don't want the Raiders in there too either, whatever. But obviously, here's the deal. I would have rather had the Chargers win that game than anything else, and instead you get an overtime game that, if it would have tied, would have kept the Steelers out of the playoffs. And it went to overtime, and they still did not end in a tie. I'm like, okay, if you ended that game in regulation, I'd be fine. Even if the Raiders still won, I'd be fine. But you went to overtime, you got there, and you could have tied. You could have tied. And wasn't it in the last second of overtime too that they scored? They put down the field goal. If I was the
no, it was
kicker,
literally like
if
they
I
ran the
was the
clock down,
kicker,
called a
I would have
timeout.
missed on purpose. I would
And you
have
were Daniel
missed on
Carlson.
purpose just to spite Ben Roethlisberger. Dead ass. I would have
Oh, if
missed
Daniel
on
Carlson missed
purpose.
that kick, you would have been a hero to so many people.
Oh my god, I would have. And that would have been amazing. Well, that was probably like a 20-yard kick, though. To be honest, I didn't see. I mean, if to be honest, I would not be surprised. But if it was 5 yards, I would have missed it. Actually, well, it can't be 5 yards because that's not how big the end zone is. But, yeah, I was pissed. Like, I was pissed, rightfully pissed. So anyway, yeah, I hate the Steelers.
Here are my meh teams, and when I say meh, this is more so. Here's my mid tier, but I'm calling it meh because I like that that's my go-to middle of the road title. They're just meh. Patriots. I know they're going against Buffalo, third time this season. They're in Buffalo. They're used to the cold. They don't care. I just feel like something's missing on this team. Like something isn't quite all clicking together. And I just don't think, I think they could be a first round bounce, but I think, if you look at the bracket, they would go against the Chiefs, assuming the Chiefs don't choke. They'd go against the Chiefs, and I think they would lose to the Chiefs. So I think for that reason, they're just, again, middle of the road. I think the divisional is their ceiling, unfortunately, but, that is the way it is. The Bengals. Now, here's the thing. I love me some Joey Burrow. I love me some Jamar Chase, and I love my cat teams. I love the big cat teams. I think they're super talented, and this team is kind of, they are like the next level up. They have the potential. It just depends. They've lost some head scratchers this season. And I know they just beat the Chiefs. They absolutely have the potential to run this table. It's just, can you win that many games in a row and play good football for, you got to play 4 straight games. Will they do that? I don't know. I think they have the potential to make it to the AFC Championship. I think they could beat the Titans. That game could be a coin flip, right? Because it would be them against the Titans. But man, it'll be very close. It'll be, like I said, they're like really close to breaking through to being a real team, being a real threat. I guess, and this might change after they go against the Raiders, but I just need to see what they do. I think they'll beat the Raiders, but I need to see how they beat the Raiders, and that will gauge my confidence on them going throughout the rest of the playoffs. Because Bengals haven't won an NFL playoff game in a while either, so this is like a big monkey off their back if they can get it. And speaking of Raiders, I have the Raiders also as a mad team. I just don't think they have the talent that you need to go on the run. I have a lot of respect for Derek Carr. I understand this team has been through a lot this year between John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, all the injuries. And the fact that they went 10-7 and are going to a playoff game is, hey, commendable. Great job. I think it's awesome they got there. I just don't think they get past the divisional. I think if they beat the Bengals, I think they lose to the Titans. And if they somehow got to the AFC Championship, I think they lose to probably the Chiefs or Bills. It would one of those teams. So, yeah, Raiders. Brad, anything to say about the middle of the road teams? At least in my opinion, the middle. This is my thoughts, but I don't know if you have any. Do you agree, disagree on any of those?
Well, it's hard because it's like, well, so I haven't watched the Titans enough. That's the thing, and so I know you have the Titans up there as because they're the only one of 3 left, right?
Yeah, and there's a reason why I have it, because I almost put the Titans here, but they're the 1 seed,
Yeah. Well,
and the fact that they went 11-6 or 12-5, one of those two, and are the 1 seed with they lost their best player in
wait,
Derrick
what?
Henry.
They are the 1 seed? When did I learn?
Yeah,
how did I not know that? What the fuck?
Yeah.
How did they get that one?
They won 12 games.
12-5. Holy shit.
They beat the Chiefs. They won the tiebreaker. But remember, because let's be now, I'm not
just
taking
learning
anything
this,
away
I'm
from
not
the
gonna
Titans
lie.
here. I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs, from the Titans. They beat the Chiefs early in the season when they had Henry, and then honestly, they got the easier part of their schedule after Henry got hurt. Jacksonville and Houston, you get to go against both those teams twice, and they went against them once with Henry still around. But I'm just saying, like, they had to win games. I'm not taking that away from them. And I put them in like I said, the top tiers, the real teams, the real threats. I put them up there with the Chiefs and Bills because I think they have, because Derrick Henry's back for the playoffs, and I think that is a huge boost to helping them. It's a matter of, can your defense continue to play as stoutly as they have? With like they had that convincing win over the Patriots. Or sorry, no, I'm wrong team. Never mind. I'm thinking of the Patriots win. But yeah, can your defense continue to do what it's been doing? And can your offense, now with Derrick Henry back, be that machine it needs to be? Henry running for 100 yards and running through people. A.J. Brown being the elite talent that he is at receiver. Can you maintain that process? Can you maintain that level of success? If they do, they have a very real chance of going to a Super Bowl. I think they could. They've beaten the Chiefs once, and I think they could and they've beaten the Bills. They've beaten both of those teams this year. But can you do it again? I think they have the ability to. It's just a matter of, will they? So, and then as far as Chiefs and Bills, listen, Chiefs, you got an easy first round matchup. You will be going against either the Bills or the Patriots in the divisional round. If that's the case, then again, I think the Bills would be a little tougher, but I think they could beat both of those teams. But I do think the Bills could give a very real run for their money. Again, I think they have the chance. I think those are my three top teams. Those are the three teams I could easily see winning the AFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. The Bills, really just a matter of, like, you got to beat the Patriots first. They probably have the hardest first round matchup in terms of, like, I think those two teams, because your divisional rivals, they're very neck and neck. So we will see. But yeah, that is my AFC breakdown. Brad, any thoughts on the top teams?
So, oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that the Chiefs would, if the Patriots win, if the Bills win, I'm pretty, and they would play the Raiders, the Bengals, but that's all for that. But I don't know, like, the Chiefs seem like it'd be hard to bet against them. Like, I don't know how, like, postseason proven the Titans are, and so I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, weren't they a great team last year, and they kind of, like, sputtered at the end or something like that? And I don't know, but I don't know. But I don't know. I always see, like, I have the Chiefs in my, like, and this is a spoiler, but I have the Chiefs in my end of year or AFC Championship prediction. So that's all on that.
All right. Very nice.
I know.
All
crazy.
right. Yeah. So, moving on to the NFC, I think. So my
Eagles
fraud
are
here,
the obvious champion out of this league, right?
Here's the thing: like, they're scrappy. I just don't. It's Jalen. Like, they're a surprising.
You want to hear my hot take? So I went to Philadelphia. Okay, I went there and I saw the shit that their fans do. Now, they call them the Birds. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They're not birds. There's a lot of birds. What kind of bird are you? Anyway, that's my. I don't like the Eagles for that reason alone. That reason alone.
Okay, well, here's my rationale, rationale.
Sure.
No, I just think, like they're scrappy, right? They got to the playoffs, right? Like that's saying something. So I just think I don't know. I just don't feel like they do. Like they're not gonna be able to do enough. I think they're gonna get beaten by the Bucks pretty easily, and for that reason, like I said, I think they're frauds, and I think they're going to. I think they're a first round bounce. Like I said, Hurts has had a good season. The defense has played fairly well. I just don't think they can maintain and that success, and I don't think, especially against like superior opponents, it would be very difficult for them to still win these games. So we will see.
Well, plus they're playing the Bucks. That's kind of like a death sentence.
Yeah,
You
Tom
know?
Brady, playoff
Like
Tom Brady.
Like if I think, and I don't know this for sure, like I don't like the Eagles, but like I feel like if we were in the old format where you had the 7 versus 3 and then you had the top 2 teams get buys, I feel like you would have like a better matchup almost with the Eagles and the Cowboys, like one that's a little bit more realistic.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah, you're probably I would agree. But yeah, and then so our middle of the road teams, the meh teams, 49ers, Cardinals, and Cowboys. Now, Cardinals, it's kind of recency bias. Obviously, we know they're a good team, very good players. Can Cliff Kingsbury, actually win and play when it comes to playoff football time? He struggled the last stretch of the season. They lost the division because of those struggles. It's just a matter of can they get right and do what they need to do in order to, win this playoff game against the Rams. Cowboys, they everything on paper makes me think this team should be better. Yet there are things that gravely concern me about this team. Obviously, you have offensive weapons and firepower, but the offense has looked out of sync. The defense is very boom and bust at times. It's weird. So I think again that the Cowboys they could make a run. They could get to the NFC Championship, but it's going to be tough. Like I think they have a very tough first round matchup because my other Met team, and again, I think all these teams are still good. Like they made the playoffs. It just compared to the others, right? The 49ers, man, they've looked very good at the end of this season. I'm going to be honest with you. Like they've just been a cut above the rest, and they had to win several of their last few games in order to even have a shot to make the playoffs. And when they controlled their own destiny, they beat the Rams in order to get in. I think that I would not want to be going up against them right now. They're a physical team. They're a tough team. And I think the Cowboys, they're going to have their work cut out for them to try and get to the divisional round. But like I said, the Rams, Jimmy G is an inconsistent quarterback. They look a little suspect at times on defense. It's really just a matter of can the 49ers be consistent and run the game plan that they want to run and control the time of possession. If they can do those things, they can win. If they don't, they're in trouble. And then the other meh team, this is the last second movement. I'm putting the Rams here. I know they won their division, but I'm worried, man. Stafford.
So you want to know my
lost
take?
That game.
You want to know what I think? Here's what I think. I think Rams lose. I'm dead ass. I'm not joking about that. And I'll have this pick
segment.
I'll have this pick in a moment once we actually do these. But God, and I know that the Cardinals have looked bad in the last few weeks. Like the Cardinals did not look great. But if the Cardinals can be and return to that like early season form, no chance the Rams win this game. Like zero chance. But
see, I think, obviously we know Stafford, gunslinger, can throw the ball all
Right.
over the field. Very good offensive weapons with all the running backs and receivers. Defense, just a matter of will they show up because sometimes that defense has not looked good. The Rams can absolutely win this game, like 100%. Now, will they is the question. Yeah, like I said, they're meh. They are. You got to prove me wrong here. I want them
Right.
to. I think they could, but we are going to have to see. All right, real teams in the NFC. We have the Buccaneers. Obviously, it's Tom Brady. I do think the Buccaneers, they're worse this year. Everyone always says this. I know Brady's cooked. He's not going to do it. It's not Brady. The issue is that defense cannot stop the run. They're worse than they were last year. And the offense is now without Chris Godwin. And I know Antonio Brown lost his mind, but let's be real. He was a good offensive weapon to have, and they don't have him. Leonard Fournette has been hurt. It's going to be a little harder this year for Brady because he doesn't have everything he did last year. So they're still a real team. Now, I'm always going to put a Brady team up there, especially they still do have good talent. It's just a little bit less. And Brady, he's only getting older. So we will see. But I'm putting them in the real team. And this team, honestly, Packers should be the team. This is the top notch. This is my prediction for who goes to the Super Bowl representing the NFC. It's the Packers. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I've hated it. I'm a Lions fan. I've always hated him, and especially with all the stupid shit going on this year. I don't even care about his vax stats. Just the whole media circus. I'm over it. I think Stafford. I think the Packers and Rodgers. The Super Bowl runs through Lambeau. They have home field advantage, and I think they're just in it to win it this year. And they have they just look untouchable. Like they just don't look like Rodgers and MVP. I just don't think I can't think of a team, at least on the NFC side, that was good enough to beat them. Obviously anything can happen. We saw the Buccaneers do it to them in Lambeau last year. I just think this team is on the next level, and I think they easily could go all the way, and Rodgers gets another championship ring. So we will see.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Anyway,
no, and I wanted to say I'm in full agreement. I don't know which team will end up facing the Packers, because I want to say so if Tampa Bay wins and I don't know, if Arizona wins, then what is it? Arizona will face whether or not they what happens between the Cowboys and the 49ers. The Packers could face any of them, and I don't know. So it's hard to say, but anyway, so yeah, I don't know. The Packers, I did not think that they would be. I was worried because of the shit that Aaron Rodgers pulled.
Awful. Yeah,
and I gotta say, I'm kind of wrong. I hate that Pat McAfee has given this dude a platform to talk about vaccination status and all this shit, but that's besides the point.
Yeah,
but
I don't have an issue with him,
being on the show.
I think Aaron
just to give him that open platform to talk about this shit, the fuck are we doing?
But you got to realize McAfee is in his pot. Well, it's if he doesn't do it here, he's doing it somewhere else. So I might as well make my money.
And
so I don't exactly blame McAfee. It's just that's the era we live in. Anyway, so yeah, that's our breakdown. Brad, you want to jump into who you got, and we can kind of talk about do our predictions,
right?
Who we think will win this game.
Absolutely, I would love to.
All right, we'll start off with the AFC. So going into this, by the way, you have a slight lead in who you got. 54 out of points, 55 points. I have 54. You are 1 point ahead of me because of the
Georgia pick, because of the national championship title game. Oh, by the way, and I wanted to play these before the episode, but I never got around to it. Whatever. But there are 2 episodes that viewers can listen to where I made 2 incredible predictions at the beginning of the college football season. One of which I picked Texas A&M to upset Alabama because I picked this home game, or I mean road game for Alabama to play at Kyle Field, Texas A&M, and I predicted that they would lose. Then you know what else I did? I said before, it was one of our very first episodes, we were talking about underachievers in college football, and I said that this is the year that Georgia wins a national title, and they did it. So,
yep.
I just want to put that out there. I am a genius. If only I had put money on it. So, perfect.
A genius.
But,
All right. Well, let's.
Anyway,
Mr. Genius, let's see who you got here.
Yeah, well,
Raiders
I'm only a
at
point
Bengals. Wild card matchup. I don't remember when this one actually is. Let's see. Raiders Bengals. Yeah, it is the first playoff game of the slate here. It's on Saturday at 4:30 on NBC. Who you got, Brad?
So I gotta take the Bengals. And do you know why, Griff? Because they got Joe Burrow, baby. And I don't know. The Raiders, I can't trust in the postseason. Can I trust the Bengals? Yeah, sure. You know what's funny, though? The Bengals have not won a playoff game. Right? Hold on. The Bengals have not won a playoff game in, I think it's longer than, you know who? The Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
The longest.
The Bengals have the longest playoff win drought. The longest in the NFL. 1991 is the last time that the Cincinnati Bengals have won a playoff game. Do you know how it's 1992 for the Lions, and the Bengals have had several chances to win a playoff game. I think they've gone to the playoffs. They were first in the North. They won it, and they lost that was this year. It was 2015, the last time. They lost to the Steelers, lost to the Colts, lost to the Chargers, lost to the Texans, lost to the Texans, lost to the Jets. They have almost as many playoff appearances as the Lions do, but have not won a game since winning the wild card round in 1990, which was, the 1990 season, 1991 year, against the Tennessee Oilers. And then they lost the divisional round to the Raiders. And that is the longest playoff drought. And this is the same game. They would also be playing the Raiders in this game. And I got Joe Burrow replenishing the Cincinnati fan base with a W right here, right now. That is my prediction, Griff. I got the Bengals.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I got the Bengals for the same reason that we talked about. I think they finally end their drought. I don't trust the Raiders, and I think Joe Burrow's just that good. I think he can be, the next guy in the NFL, and I think this could be the start. I'm going Bengals. All right. Patriots at Bills. This is the other Saturday game, Saturday night game. Playing in Buffalo. Brad. It's going to be cold and windy. Who do you got?
This is the hardest one on the thing for me, anyway.
I think so as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Patriots, and it's only for Bill Belichick. Now the Bills won the AFC East. All right, but if you look at the schedule that the between the two, so who won? So the Patriots won, so they were both 1-1. All right, and remember that the last time that the Patriots and the Bills played in rough conditions, Patriots came away with a W, 14-10. All right, and I'm gonna take the Patriots again, and I'm gonna say that the Patriots have better players. I'm gonna say that they have Mac Jones, whatever. Mac Jones has looked a little iffy here and there, but whatever. So I will take the Patriots to win this game. I love you, Buffalo, but I got to do it.
I got to take the Bills. Lake Erie Bros forever. That's the Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo, because we're all in Lake Erie. Lake Erie Bros forever. But genuinely, though, I do think the Bills win this game. It'll be close, and it could go the other way. But I do think the Bills pull this out. I like their offense. I don't trust certain aspects of the Patriots, even though they have looked very good at times this season. I'm going to just roll with the Bills and roll with Josh Allen and hope that, hopefully they try to run the ball a little more and don't throw it when the wind is as bad as it is. Taking the Bills. All right. Here's the easiest one: Steelers at Chiefs. Chiefs. Cool.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Nope, not gonna waste our time.
If the Steelers went on a crazy run and won the Super Bowl, I would laugh my ass off just because I knew how upset it would make you.
I would throw the TV out the window. Absolutely.
I hope it happens. That's root for radio.
I hate every single Pittsburgh team that in existence. Everyone. I can't stand a single one.
I'll give you that.
I can't stand the state of Pennsylvania.
You hate the Pirates?
I can't.
Nobody
hates the Pirates. They suck. Nobody hates the Pirates.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about the Pirates. The Pittsburgh doesn't even know the Pirates exist. That is what the Pirates are.
Like, you can't hate the Pirates. It's like
no,
that's like
people feel bad for them.
Dead.
I mean, it's like hating the Philadelphia Flyers. That's the only Philly team I don't care about because the Flyers don't know they exist.
Eagles,
sorry. Not a Philadelphia
Buccaneers.
fan. Yeah. Eagles and Bucks. Let's do it.
Who you got?
I gotta take the Bucks. I mean, why else would you? Why would you pick anyone else? I mean, if this game was 1 in a million, I still wouldn't take it, given the odds.
49ers at Cowboys.
I gotta take Dallas. Dallas looks like a pretty good team this year, and I know that the 49ers have played pretty well, and they've kind of surprised me, but Dallas sort of looks good. Like they look fine. Like they've surprised me. They've surprised me.
Right?
They are absolutely, but I would not be surprised if the NFC title game is the Cowboys and the Packers. 100%. Because you got to think, right? So if let's say that my prediction holds true, all right? So say I get every single one in the NFC right, okay? So we got the Eagles and the Bucks win, all right? And then you have, and I'm going to spoil my, upcoming game. But who do we got? So we got, oh, here we go. Okay, so we got the Buccaneers winning against the Eagles. That brings the 2 seed up. Then you got the Cowboys winning against the 49ers. That would bring the 3 seed up. So that would mean that the Cardinals beat the Rams. I've already discussed that. Then the Packers would play the Cardinals, and the Cowboys would play the Buccaneers. And then so Dallas would have to get past Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, which kind of is doable. Like that is doable with the amount of injuries that Tampa Bay has and all of that. Like that is something that is very realistic for the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, if the Bucks win and the Cowboys win, the Cowboys will face the Bucks no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they're the middle seeds, because the Rams are still the lower than both of them.
They're 4 and 5, so they would then have to go to Lambeau.
Right.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm taking the 49ers here.
Okay.
I just think they're scrappy, man. I just think they win this game outright. Straight up. I think they do it. I think the Cowboys, maybe they got their groove together in last week when they beat up on the backups for Philly, but I just think the 49ers win this game. I think that running game is so good, and they're going to be able to run the ball down Dallas's throat. I think the defense will be able to disrupt Dallas's offense enough to keep them in the game, and I think if Jimmy Garoppolo has to make some throws, he can. It's not a guarantee, but if he can make some throws when needed. So I'm going 49ers. All right. Cardinals at Rams, Brad. You've got the Cardinals, as you alluded to earlier.
I do, yeah. And I think, and I've said this before, Matthew Stafford, like everyone wants to be, like he's this elite guy. Like all these guys in Detroit are like, wow, he's finally getting what he deserved to get and all this stuff.
I'll say that's weird. I've never understood the people that are like don't get me wrong. If he wins, good for him.
Right.
But I don't understand.
It doesn't prove anything.
Feel the need to defend him now. Just
I thought that Stafford would win a Super Bowl this year, and I am withdrawing my comment. Bad prediction. I do not believe in him anymore. And this isn't about, and I don't care if he goes to the NFC title game. I don't care if he gets to a Super Bowl. You watch some of these games that he plays in and you're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I was watching the one game and I texted you about this. I'm like, bro, he just threw into double coverage. I'm out at a restaurant right now, or we were out on a date, and I'm watching, and I'm like every 5 seconds, and well, not 5 seconds, but every like 5 or 7 or 10 minutes, I'm peeking over at this. We're up in a balcony, and it's a really nice restaurant. And they got this at the bar. They have this big projector TV, whatever, going, and the Rams are on, and I'm like, I gotta be depressed now. With this shit that's on the TV, like this dude throws it a triple coverage on a fade, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing at this point? So some of these decisions just don't make sense for the heat of the moment and the pressure of the moment, and it just doesn't, like, in these big situations, he hasn't come up to play, and that's my issue with Matthew Stafford, and I think he will show that again this weekend. I've never been. It's hard to be a believer in Stafford when time and time again he does the wrong thing.
I agree, but here's the thing: I'm picking the Rams. They have very good talent. The Cardinals have looked suspect, and I want him. I'd like him to win. I just think he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a talented quarterback, but he hasn't. No, like here's the thing: he hasn't done enough to win.
Yeah.
No, listen. Let's be honest. He is one of the top 3 best players to ever play for the Lions, which isn't saying a lot. I know.
Actually, that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Like, you got Barry. That's with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson.
Well, but
that's your top 2.
So
well,
but he's he played for us for 10 years.
What about John Kitna?
Shut the fuck up.
All right.
So here's the John Kitna, really? No,
yeah, come on, Joey Harrington.
No. Oh, God, don't talk about Joey Harrington. Anyway.
What a
no,
guy.
but look, that's the thing. Like he's done a lot for us. I kind of want him to get bounced early because I want the draft pick to be slightly better. But like at this point, I just want him to get the monkey off his back.
Right.
I'd like him to win just a playoff game, and I think we know he can do it. He's beaten the Cardinals this season. I think he has every ability to do it. He's a gunslinger. He's got the talent. This is the only situation where he can have that kind of success, right? He needed a very good team and a very good coach around him to make up for his mistakes. So I'm going to pick him. This is more of a hope thing. I do think this game is going to be close in a coin flip, but we will see.
We will see, Griff. We will see.
So, all right, Brad. Let's get into the betting segment. And
I would love to. We still don't have a name for this, and I apologize. Just want to put that out there.
So, I want to talk. I went 2 for 3 last week. Chargers, Raiders overhit easily. Actually, I technically went 1-1-1, right? So, Broncos or Chargers, Chiefs or Chargers, Raiders overhit, no problem. 49.5. Chiefs, Broncos went well over the 44. I didn't expect the Broncos to show up with an offense that day, but apparently there they are. And then Georgia, Bama. That late pick 6 by Georgia got me to 51, and I pushed. So I went 1-1-1, thanks to the over being an even number. So not too bad. Brad, spot on with the FCS championship game. North Dakota won by 100.
So the other 2 I did not do so hot.
That Texas Tech Iowa State one was they didn't even get to 100. And
no, there were 98 points. And then the Packers, my God, that was the worst one.
I was surprised when you took that because of the fact that we knew that the Packers were going to have backups eventually.
Yeah.
They only played the first half, and they weren't even really playing. They were just kind of like, it literally looked like they were playing like they literally looked
They looked like they treated it like a preseason game. They treated it like an exhibition.
No, it was, you know those like when teams have joint practices with like another team? It looked like that. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, hey, don't hit the guy in the red jersey. That's the number 1 rule. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving into this week, Brad, I'll start. I'm going to take I like my under-overs. I normally don't like taking unders, but again, I'm taking an under here. Patriots, Bills, under 44. It's going to be windy, cold as hell. It's going to be hard to throw the football. Look what happened last time. Now, granted, that was a crazy amount of wind, but look what happened last time when they played in Buffalo with bad weather conditions, 14-10. I think we could see a very similar thing here. I'm thinking more 21-17, which keeps me well under 44. I think that's where we land for this game. Give me the under. Patriots, Bills.
So you want to continue with your next two?
Oh, sure. I can do all three at once.
Perfect.
No
Right,
I
feel like that.
I got Rams, Cardinals. I got the over 49.5. They scored 53 combined points the last time they faced. Both these teams have the offensive firepower to just score bunches of points. Stafford could throw a pick six. Boom. Easy. Quick 6 points. Then he's got to get those garbage time touchdowns. Easy. No, I think this game, this is a closer one. I'm a little less confident in it, but I would still be confident enough to put my word behind it and say Rams, Cardinals, over 49.5. All right. Then we got 49ers, Cowboys. I'm taking the 49ers money line at, I can't believe I don't have the tab open. I think it was plus 130. I will double check. And when I find it, I'll confirm. But yes, I'm taking the Rams money line to win outright because I absolutely think that they can beat the Cowboys. I think it's 4.5 points last time I checked. So give me the 49ers. And so, yeah, it's plus 140, and the line is actually down to only plus 3. So I'm locking in there. Give me the Niners at plus 140.
So my game, all right, we got the Red Wings and the Jets and the Winnipeg Jets. So I got some hockey action for you today. So it's actually tomorrow, Thursday, all right? So we got a game. It's actually on ESPN Plus for those of you who give a shit. The Winnipeg Jets have somewhat of an identical record, all right? The only real difference is that Winnipeg has played like several less games. Winnipeg 16-12-5, Detroit 16-16-5. So, better record for Winnipeg on a technicality. But the Jets are 6-6-4 on the road. The Red Wings are 12-5-2 at home. All right? But the Red Wings right now are on a 3-game slide. All right, so they're on a 3-game skid. So that's not looking great. But
it was a bad West Coast trip for them. They're not very good on the road.
And that's the thing. So they come back home. All right, you're down. You want to get something somewhere. This is the game to do it. Red Wing. They just hired Nicholas Lidstrom as their VP to do whatever the fuck, and now it's a plus 120 money line. Easy dub. I mean, you want to take the over-under. They could score 1 million points. The over-under 6. I would bet the over if you're into that. But the main one I'm focused on is this money line, plus 120. Easy money. Just easy money for you right here. And then my second game I got is the Eagles and the Bucks, all right? And so the Bucks are at a minus 8.5 spread. I got to take that because honestly, and I know that playoff games are usually close, but this is easy. You could also do the same thing with the Steelers and the Chiefs, but I trust this game a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spread with the Bucks at minus 8.5. The third one I got right here is the Rams and the Cardinals. Now, the over-under is 49.5, and I got to take the over. These are two powerhouse offenses with Kyler Murray fronting one of them, and you got Matthew Stafford on the other hand. I think if Matthew Stafford is going to win this game, he's going to have to score a shit ton of points. I don't know if I trust him to do that, but both of them together, easily over 50. 100%. I take the over on that game. So that is...
You also...
I picked the same game that you did. I did not. When I read that line, I thought that was an easy money. If this line maybe was like 53 or 54, I might have thought about it twice. But 49.5, nothing. So take it. Why not?
Respect.
I mean, great minds think alike, Griff. You know that. That's what they say.
Yeah, they do. They do indeed.
Yeah,
they do indeed.
So it's exciting.
Fun.
Griff, you know what's crazy? We are about to end our show 15 minutes early.
I'm proud of us.
I know.
We went a little long last week. I think
we did. So now we can reel it back this week. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the upcoming weeks, as this football season ends, our shows are not gonna ramp down in quality and energy, but football season ends. I think
we'll have some overreactions and shit like that next week. I know I discussed with you. I want to do the way too early MSU and Michigan predictions. Very excited to do that. But that'll be exciting.
And then we'll talk a little bit about. We'll probably talk a little bit more about the NFL coaching issue. We want to talk more playoffs this week, but we'll talk about the coaches that didn't make it, things like that, and then obviously a Lions fans' favorite time of year. The NFL draft, the time where optimism is at an all-time high and our dreams cannot be destroyed. It's going to be a good time. All right, Brad, let's wrap this bad boy up. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Check us out on Spotify. Follow us on our social media account. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. We will see you all next week, and don't forget to make the free throws. See you.